everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do my sip down basket number 2. So if you guys saw the first one, you saw all the teas that I had chosen to start sipping down on. First I'm going to go through and show you guys what I actually ended up finishing, which it has been, I've had the current basket for, it's been almost 2 weeks. It's been, let's see, a week and 5 days, so almost 2 weeks. So it's been 2 weeks of me working through some of the stuff that's in the basket. I'll show you what I finished, I'll show you what I haven't finished yet, and then I will show you the teas that I am rolling in to start working on for this next basket. So I actually did pretty decent. These are all teas that I finished. So I'm not going to go too far into a review. The reviews and everything, you guys will see those in the empties basket that I do, but I will, just kind of go through each tea. So I finished up 3 of the Trank Bar Dandelion and Elderflower tea bags. This was okay. It was a black tea that had kind of like a fruity berry-ish type of a flavor. I finished 4 of the Tazo Dessert Delights Glazed Lemon Loaf. This was one that it's in my sip down because I need to finish it up, but I actually really like this tea. So this is one of those teas I actually still have, I think like 3 or 4 of the tea bags left, but I'm almost drinking these like sparingly because I do like it. So if I'm going through and I'm drinking down teas that I'm not like a huge fan of, then I will like reward myself with one of these because I actually do really enjoy that. Finished the Dominion Tea Dulce de Leche. This is a rooibos tea with like a caramel type of a flavor. You guys know, if you've been here for a while, rooibos is like one of those teas that I'm kind of on the fence about anyway. And if it's vanilla flavored or if it's like a light caramel flavor, I don't feel like there's enough flavor in it to mask the rooibos taste, because rooibos naturally has kind of like a creamy vanilla-y type of a flavor in my opinion. So I usually need to have something a little bit more, I don't know, like a little bit more forceful in there, like a blueberry or maple or something like that, something a little bit more intense for me to actually enjoy the rooibos. So this was definitely a no-go for me. Finished up the Chez Lulu Eclair a la Vanilla. This was a green tea with like vanilla flavor from Sip Spy. Wasn't a fan of that one. Okay, so this is funny too. This actually happens to me every once in a while. I will have teas that are on my sip down shelf that I have made the decision that I didn't really care for them. And then as I go to sip them down, I start to find that actually they're not so bad. And this is one of those. This was the Cookie Tea is the brand. It's the Sip Spy tea. And this was the dark chocolate cookie. This actually ended up being pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. Chocolate teas are another one that it's hit or miss with me. I feel like sometimes they're really good and other times they're really bad. And yeah, this one I thought the first time I tried this, I was not a fan of it, but the more I had this, because I ended up having I think 3 cups out of this, it kind of grew on me a little bit. So next up was the Dominion Tea South African Chai Organic. This is, it's got organic cinnamon, rooibos, and honeybush, ginger root, cardamom, fennel, clove, star anise, peppermint, and black pepper. Not a fan of this at all, but at least it's gone. This was another one. This is the Just Add Honey Tea Company, the Vanilla Chai. When I originally tried this, I don't know what it was, but, oh, maybe it's because it has peppercorns in it. Yeah, I felt like I tasted black pepper in this from, the first time I tried this. But the more I drank this, I wasn't tasting the black pepper as much. So this was actually, it ended up being pretty okay. I don't know that I would purchase this because I think that there are other vanilla chais that I like much better. But this ended up being not so bad. Finished up the Tea Kitten. The Vanilla Bliss Rooibos, I already told you guys about my whole like rooibos you know, this is a vanilla rooibos, so that just doesn't cut it for me. The Just Add Honey cacao chai. This was another one. I didn't really care for it originally, but the more I drank this, the more it kind of grew on me. And I think it was really, honestly, towards the end of this, because I got probably 5 or 6 cups out of this. There was still quite a bit of this left. You know, it was one of those things, like, it changed daily. Like, I would have a cup of this and be like, wow, this is actually pretty good. And then I would have a cup the next day and I was like, no, it's not that great. So I definitely, like, flip-flopped with this one a lot. Would I ever purchase this one again? Probably in this size. I wouldn't get a full size, but I would definitely get this size. And I think I would try playing with it. Maybe do it on like stovetop, because I didn't do that. And I found with this one, because the cacao is very bitter, I found I actually preferred it without sugar than with. You would have thought, because you would want to like counteract that bitterness, you would have thought that I would have wanted to add some sweetener. And I don't know, I found that without sweetener and piping hot, it was actually my favorite. If it started to cool down, it felt like the bitterness almost like clung to your tongue and left like a funky aftertaste. But if it was piping hot, it was like, oh, this is pretty good. So I don't know. It was kind of a finicky tea for me. Finished up the dessert tea collection, Simpson & Vale Apple Cinnamon Coffee Cake Black Tea. This one is very borderline for me. This is one that I could possibly enjoy, but then it almost reminds me of David's Tea's Forever Nuts with like a little hint of apple to it. And I am not a fan of the David's Tea Forever Nuts. I feel like when you have like that very intense nutty flavor and then you mix that with like the cinnamon and all of that, it can become very heavy and like cloying, at least to me. I know the Forever Nuts is like a cult classic. Everybody seems to love that one, but I cannot hack it. Like, it's just too much for me. I like the cinnamon and all of that like in a chai or even by itself. And I like a nutty flavor by itself. But when you combine those two, it's just a no-go for me. And this tea is that, but just has like a little bit of apple added to it. So I could get it down. And if someone gave me a cup of this, I could definitely drink it. But I wouldn't buy the full size of this one. And then the last tea was the Tiesta Tea Immunity. This is the Maui Mango. I actually ended up having this one iced without any sweetener, and it was actually very, very enjoyable. But there are other ones that I enjoy more. I would probably, when it comes to things like mango, you know, that like flavor profile, I tend to like, I would rather have a pineapple tea, or I would rather have like a peach or something like that, or like a berry or a strawberry. Mango is kind of at the bottom of my list when it comes to a fruit tea. So it was good and it was refreshing and all of that, and I got through it, but I probably wouldn't purchase that. So that's what I got through. Now let's talk about what I'm still working on. I am still working on the Teavana Spiced Apple Cider. I can't remember how many I started with, but I am down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Still working on the Bella Luna. You can see it's still quite full. This is one I think I'm going to be working on for a while. And then I do still have some of that Tazo glazed lemon loaf. Let's see, I only have 3, which is kind of a bummer. I do need to finish this up because it's starting to get a little bit old. And you can tell because when you take the tea sachet out, it feels a little crispy. It still tastes amazing. Let's see. It says best before April 24th, 2021. So it's not like horribly expired. But, and I don't really, maybe it's the apple, because the ingredients are apple, natural flavors, green rooibos, orange peel, chamomile, rose petals, licorice root, and ginger. Maybe it's the apple that's getting a little crispy. I need to use this up just to move it through my collection, but I will repurchase this. So 3 of those. Now, there is one tea that I'm just going to tap out on because I cannot handle it. So I'm going to be passing this tea along to someone else to enjoy. And it is the Tea Lab, their North Coast Night. I have this terrible habit of seeing like the name of a tea and like kind of seeing like the description, like as far as like, oh, it helps you relax and helps you sleep. And then I'll like kind of casually look at the ingredients. And if there's like a couple things in there, you know, that I'm a fan of and a couple things that I'm not a fan of, then I'm like, let's give it a try. Even though it's kind of against my better judgment, because deep down inside, I think I know sometimes when I look at the ingredients, no matter how attractive, you know, the name and the description may be, there are certain ingredients that are usually complete fails for me. And this is one of those teas. I saw the name North Coast Nights. This is a company that's in Cleveland, so it is, you know, very close to my hometown. I'm usually a fan of a lot of these sleep teas. Like there's some really good ones, although there are some really bad ones too. But you know, any of the teas that are like supposed to like make you feel very zen and calm, I always seem to be attracted to those teas. Here's the kicker though. The ingredients in this are honeybush, lavender, peppermint, rose hips, and ginger. Honeybush is very hit or miss for me. Lavender is more miss than hit for me. Like every once in a while I can handle lavender in tea, but most of the time, not a fan. Peppermint is another one. I much prefer spearmint. Peppermint, it has to be, you know, blended a certain way for me to enjoy it. Rose hips, not usually a fan. And ginger, I'm almost never a fan. So I don't know why I got this tea in the first place. I had high hopes. I thought maybe my taste buds changed. I think the other thing with this tea is because it got such good reviews, but obviously the people who reviewed it probably like these ingredients. Like, it's pretty stupid to buy a tea when you don't like most of the ingredients. And it smells nice. It really does. Like, if you could put this into one of those like eye pillows, you know, those like soothing eye pillows that you put on your face when you're stressed out, and it's very cooling and it has like a lovely herbal smell. You could do that. You could stuff an eye pillow with this. But taste wise, flavor wise, this just did not cut it for me. I brewed 2 cups. I got one down. I got half of another down, and I was like, I'm done. I just cannot do it. So I'm going to pass this one along to somebody else, because I know that other people do like this tea, because like I like this tea. It has really good reviews. It's just not for me. So that's going to get passed along. Now let me show you the teas that we are adding to the basket, that we are rolling in. So I still have 2 Teavana teas left on my sip down shelf. The first one is the Mandarin Mimosa. This one I will be drinking iced, because I've actually had it iced and it was actually pretty good. But again, kind of like that Maui Mango, it's just not my ideal iced fruity tea. I know I've got others that I like so much more. That being said, it's not that, you know, this is not going to be hard to get through. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sachets in here to get through. But if I'm doing that iced, I honestly should get through these pretty quickly, because to do ice, I'm going to use 2 to 3 at a time. And then I also have this citrus lavender with pineapple orange and notes of sage. Now this is one I'm not a huge fan of. So this, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, even the smell of this one kind of gets me. And it's got to be the lavender and the sage. If it was just the citrus, like the pineapple and orange, it would probably be amazing. But you add that lavender and sage, and I don't know. This one is another one I'm going to have to play with too. I'm not sure if this is going to be better hot or iced. So we'll see. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, okay. For some reason, I was thinking only 12 came, and it came in it, and I'm like, I know I tried this, but it says 15. So I'm like, how is there 12 if it only came with 12? Okay, so I have 12 to get through. Next up is this Yogi Caramel Apple Spice Slim Life Tea. This is a black tea. If you guys saw, I think this was, I talked about this in a tea talk because it was in one of my tea baskets, like weekly tea baskets. It's just a little too weak for me. It just, the caramel isn't enough. Like there just isn't, not enough caramel, not enough spice. It's just a little, I don't know, just not, it doesn't pop enough. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tea bags to get through of that. I'm going to go ahead and sip through my Adagio Wicked teas. I did a tea vlog where I did, I think 4 of the teas. 4. Yeah, I did 4 of the teas. So I gave you guys reviews of them. I need to sit this down for a couple reasons. Number one, because this is actually from last year, and it does seem like they come out with these every single year. And then one of you alerted me to the fact that they are now offering these in larger tins. They didn't used to. It used to be every single year you could only get the full set of the small tins. And when I'm talking about small tins, like they're just like that. But now you can get them individually in larger sizes. So I do enjoy quite a few of these. I think off the rip, I know there's at least one that I would get the full size of. But I'm going to kind of play with these and sip them down so that by next year I know which one I want to get in the full size, or which ones I want to get in the full size. So it's time to sip those down. So those are actually going to be kind of fun to sip down though, because I don't think there's any of those that I completely dislike. So that'll be good. And then I'm also rolling in another good night tea. We'll see. Okay, so the North Coast Nights was a flop for me. Let's see how this Just Add Honey good night tea goes for me. And this has got about like that. So I would say probably 5 cups, 5 to 6 cups in here. And the ingredients in this are chamomile, lemongrass, lavender, and lemon peel. So obviously it has a little bit of lavender, but hopefully it's not enough to completely make it impossible for me to sip this down. And then I'm also going to be sipping down the Just Add Honey Strawberry Kiwi Fruit Tea. This one I will be enjoying iced also. And this one is about here. So for iced tea, that's probably going to be, I would say 2 to 3 cups, because for iced you use quite a bit. The ingredients in this are apple, hibiscus, rose hips, dried kiwi, and dried strawberry. Next up is the Dominion Tea Amber Mint. There is about like that, so probably 3 cups, I would say. And this is organic rooibos, organic peppermint, organic orange peel, and safflower petals. Next up is the Dessert Tea Collection from Simpson & Vale. This is the Almond Sugar Cookie Black Tea. And about like that. There's actually quite a bit of that. So I'm going to say that's probably going to be 6 to 8 cups of that. This is from a Sips By box. It's the Made of Tea and Nothing Else by Mudan White Tea. And you can see there's still quite a bit of that. Let's see. Oh, but you use a full tablespoon. So there's probably, what, 3 or 4 cups in here to get through. And then last is another Simpson & Vale, and this is the National Park Tea Collection. This is the Grand Canyon one, which is black tea, prickly pear, eleuthero root, paw d'arco, and red cornflower petals. And that one is to about there. So that's probably, what, 4 or 5 cups probably. So those are the ones I am adding. So that's where I'm at so far with the sip down. I think I'm actually doing pretty decently. In fact, I'm doing better than I thought, but I think the fact that we are now into cooler temperatures, that's definitely helping. So let's see how far I can get with this basket and how quickly I can sip some of these down. And then I'll check back in with you guys again when I'm ready to roll some more teas in. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little bit, and I will see you next time.